WO Sports, where we review all the best sports takes from around the country. If this is your first time, please definitely consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and it's truly something special, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I really see this channel just as much as yours as it is mine. So I read every single comment. So if you think what I'm saying is the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, let me know in the comments below. If you think what I'm saying is awesome and amazing, then also please let me know, because I also love to hear compliments, of course. But either way, let's get into some discussions, let's get into some fights, but ultimately, let's have some fun. So without further ado, let's get to it. We're with first things first, talking about the Bills battling the Dolphins for the AFC East title. And who's the scarier team, Miami or Buffalo?
Live from New York. It's the show that is thinking about bringing Bill Belichick back to the Patriots. Come around on it. It's not in the show.
Belichick and Russ.
Well,
that. Get ready for it.
It's first things first. We start with Buffalo. Favored in Miami. Bills coming off a squeaker of a win. Miami coming off of a devastating loss to Lamar Jackson, who looks to ascend Mahomes Mountain. No, at 4 o'clock. Last time they met, the Bills won 48-20, 2 giveaways, and a season high in penalties doomed the Dolphins. So, Nick, are you surprised the Bills are 3-point favorites?
In Miami.
In Miami.
Of course I'm not surprised. Everyone loves the Bills except for me.
That's true.
The Vegas loves them. The NFL media really loves them. Really, we were getting legitimate segments on prior to week 17. Could Josh Allen be the league's MVP?
Oh, yeah.
We were.
The betting public loves him. And the Bills are covered the way I would imagine sometimes teams were talked about in the NBA during the tape-delayed era when you just couldn't watch the games. And it's like, well, I assume the 82 Lakers are awesome, but you don't have access to see it unless you were there. I've watched the Bills, and I assume most people have, the last 2 weeks. Has anyone been impressed? Has anyone thought they're peaking at the right time? Now, I understand Miami just got de-pantsed by Baltimore, but Baltimore has been doing that to a lot of teams, and nobody right now is full-on out on the Niners because they got mollywopped by the Ravens. And so here's, Brew, if I may please, I know I'm not a professor, maybe I could be an adjunct. Can I borrow the grading system just for a moment?
Adjunct, yeah.
Adjunct, is
as long
that
as you
okay?
put adjunct in
Adjunct, professor, there we go. That's game by game.
Oh, wow, I'm not ready
And
for
I
this.
don't think you're going to disagree with them.
They consume this.
But so they had a great quarter after, the first game of the year with 3 straight A games.
Yep.
Then a B game against Jacksonville. Tough to beat Trevor in England, everyone.
Okay. Nick Wright's gripe with the Bills and Josh Allen is so weird because, it's not weird, I get it, because he does it because he thinks that it takes shine away from Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs because, people like the Bills, people like Josh Allen and that whole duel between the two of them and, that obviously that infamous game, yada, yada, yada. And he's so, threatened by Josh Allen and the Bills because he knows that if they could, put things together that they would win. And also, make no mistake about it. No mistake about it. Put Josh Allen on the Kansas City Chiefs. Just have them switch sides. Okay, from the beginning of their career, Josh Allen, without a doubt, would have had multiple Super Bowls, especially with Andy Reid as his head coach. No ifs, ands, or buts. Put Patrick Mahomes on the Bills franchise, he would not have any Super Bowls. No ifs, no ands, or buts. And I stand by that. I think Patrick Mahomes is an amazing quarterback. So I am not throwing any hatred towards Patrick Mahomes. I think he is amazing, and I feel grateful that we have players like him to watch because it's just fun and exciting. So I am not hating on him. But Josh Allen has had to do so much more with so much less relative to Patrick Mahomes. So him knocking that is just it just irks me because it just seems so disingenuous. It really does. Does Josh Allen have his drawbacks? Yes. But that's because Josh Allen is asked to be a superhero every single game. Guess what? They're asking Patrick Mahomes to be a superhero now every single game, and it's not working out for him, okay? His numbers are all really, really low, and the Chiefs are in no way threatening to any other team. In fact, majority of teams are not, every single team is not afraid of the Chiefs anymore like they once were, okay? And that's because they're asking Patrick Mahomes to do way too much, and he just can't. He's starting to crumble a little bit. And so I think what the Bills are doing is really, really impressive. But to get to the actual question of whether or not the Bills will beat the Dolphins, this is interesting because I've been on this before, and I said this in my one of the last videos when we were talking about the Dolphins versus the Ravens, and I said the Ravens are absolutely going to win, that the Dolphins have yet to beat any good team, that they only beat the Cowboys, and that was more about the Cowboys losing than the Dolphins winning. And I said the Ravens are absolutely going to win, and I said Lamar Jackson's going to look great, and lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. With that said, the Dolphins showed me some pretty good offense, specifically, not defense. They showed me specifically pretty good offense. I thought Tua looked really sharp, and I think a couple dropped passes by the Dolphins really hurt them. The Ravens were clearly the superior team, whether or not those were catches or not, for the Dolphins. Obviously, it would have changed the flow of the game. It would have changed, pretty much everything, because that's just the way the laws of the world works, right? The whole domino butterfly effect, everything would have changed. But clearly, the Ravens were the superior team that game. And I think, but the Dolphins, what the Dolphins showed me is both good and bad. They showed me that in the beginning of the game, when the game was still within reach, that they could make moves, that Tua could make some really beautiful throws, and, he looked pretty composed. But once the game started to get a little bit more out of control, not so good. A lot of interceptions, and just didn't look good, it wasn't good. So if the Bills can play this game competitively, and Josh Allen can be Josh Allen, especially now with Chubb being injured, that's a huge loss for the Dolphins. I don't know if there's been any updates or not, or if he ended up being okay, but not to my knowledge. I'm pretty sure he's down, for the year now. But if we look at this, it might be a little bit harder to see. They've done, their defense has been relatively decent, okay? Relatively speaking, okay? It's been their offense that has been a little bit shaky. In their loss to New England 25-29, that's probably not the best loss on there. And then they lost 18-24 against Cincinnati. Not terrible. 22-24 to Denver. Not the best. I remember that game. They had that was more about the offense of the Bills turning everything over. And then the other loss, 34-37, that was against the Eagles, and that was a complete shootout. And then they won. And so their defense, for the most part, has been pretty decent. It's their offense that has been up and down, up and down. So, with that being said, make it noted right now, I am telling you right now that the Bills are going to win. The Bills are going to win. They're going to win this game. Absolutely. Because the defense is going to play really good against Tua and is going to shut them down. And I think they're going to call upon Josh Allen to be a superhero. And I think he will be able to do that quite convincingly against the Miami Dolphins. So I think what's going to happen is the Bills are going to come from behind and win the AFC East title.
Everyone knows that. But they're a mediocre student who is not exactly F game against the Patriots.
A's, though. A lot of A's.
Yes, they have 6 A's on the year. They have 3 B's on the year, 3 F's, 3 D's.
We just went through this.
The GP 2 seed or going to Arrowhead to start the playoffs. That's what it is for Miami. They're either going to be the 2 or the 6. No, they don't deserve to be, but of course they are.
I'm not surprised. All right, I'm with you on that. And there are reasons on paper. Now, you gave the media does love the Bills. You're right. It was Josh Allen. It seems crazy, although he's got a ton of touchdowns. Even in this streak where he's only thrown 3, like in their last, 4 games?
But he's run for 6.
He's run for 6. Yeah. So, but the media does love him. But there are also rational reasons for believing. Number one, as you said, Miami just got beat by 37. Okay? 37. And this Bills team beat them by 28. Beat Miami by 28. The Bills have won. I get it. The last 2 haven't looked good, but they've won 4 straight games.
Sure.
All right? They are more desperate than Miami. I know Miami, like you said, they need it. Bills are fighting for their playoff life. Like, if they lose, they might not get in the playoffs. Miami's in. So I get that Miami has something to play for, too. But the Bills are certainly more desperate. And Miami just lost, unfortunately, Bradley Chubb.
Sure.
All right, so I think there are a lot of reasons on paper as well to think that Buffalo should be favored. So I understand it. I'm not sure which way I'm going. There's one point I was leaning Miami. Now I'm doubting that, so I'm not sure who I'm picking yet. But I do think there's every reason to pick Buffalo.
Just a quick timeout. That's what I like.
So I do agree. I know I just said that I absolutely pick, the Bills. I'm definitely more on Brew. I'm kind of going back and forth because Miami really did show me something last game. But and unless I really change my mind, which I'll let you all know in a future video that's going to be posted on like Friday or Saturday, before the games. I'll make another note of it, but the problem is people will still watch this video, but I can't see myself going backwards. I am putting my faith in Josh Allen, actually. And maybe I'm going to get scorned by Josh Allen. Apparently that's happened a lot. But I'm going to stand by this prediction. Even though I said I don't want to get in the habit of making predictions. I really don't, but here we go.
Like, man, that's what I'm about.
What's that?
Do I not give that to you every segment?
What? Go ahead.
I'm not going to say it.
What?
That you don't know, that you have to look at all the data.
That's what I'm doing tonight after the Akaba. I'm breaking down all 22.
When's that?
7 to 10 Eastern.
So about 10:30.
Oh, same as 2024 is 2023. They didn't change the time.
So, bro, I'll give you an argument on both sides.
Well, that'll be good.
An argument for the Bills. Well, I'm the neutral party. I'm trying to convince it.
Go ahead.
One, Tua, really good quarterback against everybody except the Bills. He's 1-5 against the Bills.
Wow.
Completion percentage down against everybody else. Yards are only at 200. He's at 250 against everybody else. 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and his passer rating way down. So that's the pro-Bills argument. I'll give you the anti-Bills argument. What's up with Stephon Diggs?
Yeah.
What's going on with this guy? Last few games, he had 4 catches, 26 yards. Against the Chargers, 5 for 29, 4 for 48 against the Cowboys.
Look at this.
4 for 24. Oh,
first
you made that?
Yeah, so basically first half, second half.
I didn't even know that. There you go. Good teamwork.
And so this is the reason, one of the reasons why I feel like right now the Bills are overvalued. So much of even my roller coaster stuff with the Bills has operated under the premise of, but man, when they're clicking, they're dynamic. That is predicated on the Allen to Diggs combo.
But they've been winning with this.
Right, they've been winning with this, and they beat Kansas City and Dallas with that situation.
And in my opinion, the only game they played great start to finish this whole streak is Dallas.
That's true.
I thought the Chiefs.
But look, you beat the Chiefs no matter what.
No, and you saw it. I gave them the great grade for it, which they deserved. I'm not denying that part of it, but I'm just saying their offense during this 4-game winning streak, or more notable.
See, this is what drives me crazy about Nick, because look how critical he is of being of the Bills, and rightfully so, understandably so. Even him calling out the Bills makes a lot of sense. Where is this same cogent analysis with the Chiefs, right? I mean, like, he makes excuses for the Chiefs, builds them up, says they're great, says they're this, says they're that, and says boom, 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 no one can beat us. And then you have the Bills, who are fighting to have like an even better record than the Chiefs, who beat the Chiefs. And he's just like, no, they're not that good. They're overvalued. How? How are they overvalued in that regard? They technically have, I have to look at their schedule, but they played some tough teams this season, you know, and like, and they don't have this offensive genius head coach and stuff like that. So I just think you have to take some of these critiques of the Bills with like a pretty big grain of salt, because the adversity that they've had to go through has been pretty strong, from their head coach to, you know, just some of there's just been definitely drama going on, you know, with their offensive coordinator and, you know, all that type of stuff. So that's true adversity that has now settled, right? Like, you get over that stuff actually pretty quickly. It's pretty shocking. Anyone that's ever been part of a team before, sometimes it can fester and destroy you. Other times, you know, your coach or a player or whatever that happens, you know, gives you a speech, gives you an apology, and they say, we got you. We know who you are. We love you. We know what you meant. And everyone just bands together, you know, and I've been part of that. And it's actually really beautiful. You know, it's really like you become really connected and you're just like, damn, man, this is my family. You know, like I can really mess up. I can really make a mistake. And they're still there for me. They're still going to forgive me. They're still going to, you know, be side by side with me and go to war with me. That's a big deal. And I think that's kind of what the Bills have proven, that they, you know, they've shown some major resilience. And, you know, technically it's in the Bills' DNA to then just let you down, right? They're kind of like that as an organization. But I think this year, I think playing the Dolphins, they know the Dolphins well. They know Tua well. That record 1-5 is a little misleading. Potentially, I'd have to look at all those games, but some of that with Brian Flores, you know, like I don't ever count, you know, the first season or so, or the first couple seasons even. Tua obviously took a little bit to kind of get going. So I'd like to know how they played last season, especially with his new head coach. I'd have to look at that. I won't do that now, so I'm not really sure. But since this channel recently has been getting a lot of Dolphins fans, to be very clear, I am not a Miami Dolphins hater. I like Tua a lot. I like the Dolphins a lot. But I just think that Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Tua Tagovailoa. He just is. He's more resilient. He's more durable. You can really rely on him to win the game. If Josh Allen was on the Miami Dolphins right now, I think that team would be better. In fact, I know that team would be better. And most teams that would have Josh Allen on it, they would be better. Especially with a legit, actual good head coach. But that's the other thing. The Dolphins coach could outcoach the Bills coach. So I think a lot of this will come down to coaching schemes, potentially in a lot of ways.
Notably, we can show you Josh Allen during the 4-game winning streak has been his rushing has been dynamic and important, but from a passing perspective,
but
this
so you
is
can't.
about as bad as a.
That's not fair. You can't do that. You can't just say his rushing has been dynamic and then just leave it off the chart. His rushing has been dynamic because that's what he's needed to do to win the game. That's what I'm talking about, putting the game on, you know, Josh Allen's shoulders and saying, win it for us. So that's on him. I mean, that they're putting that all on him. So that should be amazing that he's able to still get out these wins. He's doing everything he can. His completion percentage of 55.6, it's not because he's just chucking the ball to no one and he's just making these terrible passes and you're like, oh my God, does Josh Allen even know how to throw the ball? It's just not fair. So again, this is where stats are misleading. We looked at Tua last Sunday, or right, I think they played Sunday. On those games, he had 2 less touchdowns. He easily could have had 2 more touchdowns on his bottom line. Tyreek Hill dropped a ball that he catches 9 out of 10 times. And same thing with, Claypool also dropped the ball. I mean, it was a little bit harder of a catch, but also definitely could have caught that ball. That should be 2 extra touchdowns for Tua. And now those touchdowns are not there. I haven't watched every single moment and every single pass and every single thing in that 4-game win streak with the Bills and Josh Allen, but I'm sure those moments have happened too. So you have to look beyond just the stats. It's not fair just to do that.
a month of production you're going to get from him. And so part of what makes the Bills theoretically a high ceiling team, it is not their run game. It is not, given the injuries, their defense. It is their passing attack. That is what is supposed to make them a high ceiling team. And credit to them for winning despite it over the last few weeks. But some post Dallas, they have won because the opposing teams were not fielding NFL quarterbacks. That's the only reason they beat the Chargers. That's the only reason they beat the Patriots.
Mac Jones.
He doesn't
Mac
like Zappy.
Mac Jones beat the.
Yeah, and so
Zappy did.
and so and Bills fans, I understand.
Okay, well, you know what? The Chiefs couldn't even beat a backup of a backup of a backup quarterback with a coach who's never coached a day in his life. So I don't get your argument. And you also only beat the Bengals because you went up against a backup quarterback. Please tell me why it matters for the Bills, but it doesn't matter for the Chiefs. Please tell me. In fact, you can't tell me. But you all let me know in the comments below because I would love to hear your thoughts. Why does it matter for the Bills, but not the Chiefs? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Who do you think is going to win this game? The Bills or the Dolphins? What quarterback would you rather have? Tua or Josh Allen? Would love to hear your thoughts on this one. Please, please, please do not forget to subscribe. We are building an amazing community and it's going so well, and I think we can really do something special here. Again, I see this channel just as much as yours as it is mine, and I'm absolutely loving it so far, and I know you will too. Please also don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps with the visibility and the algorithm, and I would greatly appreciate it. It means nothing to you and it means everything to me. Thank you so much.